All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Speak to the Beak. I am Tim the Ferds, joined by Joe Wilson. And Joe, we finally made it. All right, we thought we weren't going to get any trades there for a second, but the deadline was on Monday, and we are rocking. So, we're past the deadline. Quick thoughts, what'd you think?
Well, as we know, it was very slow at first, but boy, did that last 2 days, that it picked up quite a lot. I'd say a lot more trades than I expected for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So look, before we start, obviously we're gonna talk about little Jack Eichel. Bishop's done for the year. We'll get to that in a second. We're gonna recap major trades that we thought happened leading up to and the actual trade deadline. And then obviously we'll still give you our betting picks and our game of the week. So we got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. Obviously, we are not going to have time to get to every single trade. It's just not possible. We could be here for like 3 hours. So if we miss a trade you thought was significant, we're probably sitting on it for next week to talk about when we bring up certain teams. All right. If you have a request, obviously, listen, we take your feedback, right? You guys know me and Keith super active. Joe also active on the IG there. So hit up Beak Brands on Instagram. We can communicate with you. All right, and that's going to lead me to some things that we need you to do. And one of those things is follow Beak Brands on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All right, you can follow me at Tim Ferdinand. You can follow Joe at Joe Wilson24.
Yeah,
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. It's been a week, so you think I know by now, but not really.
two E's, two E's.
Two E's on the Joe. That part I know. All right, the other thing we need you to do, beakbrands.com. All right, we have our written content there. The podcast is uploaded there. Obviously, if you're like, wow, I'm only interested in watching people, punch each other in the face, you're a UFC guy, we got you covered for that. Obviously, right at the start of the baseball season, I got you covered for that. And Keith on the podcast. Obviously, the NFL draft is less than 2 weeks away by the time this comes out. So, that's amping up. Obviously, hockey's right in the middle of it. So, we got a lot of content there for you. Third thing, also important, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We have a couple subscribers, which is pretty sweet. We're looking to grow a little bit. So definitely subscribe, comment, like the video. Don't like the video, whatever. I prefer you to like it, but as long as you subscribe, we're good. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify, obviously follow and or subscribe, rate and review. And listen, me and Joe are open to feedback. All right? And we actually hear you. We read your text, so we hear you through words, right? That's reading. So we read what you say to us, okay? And listen, if it's some positive feedback that we're trying to make the show better, definitely hit us up. We're pretty receptive to that, especially Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it. So we thought the deadline was going to be a little slow. Obviously, it was not. But before we even get to deadline stuff, there are two major injuries that we're going to need to get to. So you actually sent this to me before. Ben Bishop for the Dallas Stars, Jack Eichel for the Buffalo Sabres are done for the season.
And Alexander Radulov for
correct.
the Stars as
also
well.
For the Stars. I was going to package him in a second, but thank you for that. So,
My
let's
fault.
start with Buffalo because I think there's a lot less implications there because they are terrible.
Yeah.
You
Just
think the
gives them more
Eichel thing
reasons
was a
to lose.
precautionary move, just like we suck and we know it, so don't come back, or you think it's like a serious injury?
I was reading on social media a ton about it, and a lot of Sabres fans I've read in comments said that he was never 100% before the season started. So if that's the case, I'm surprised it took this long for them to shut him down for the remainder of the season. I mean, probably could have done that during the super long losing streak and saved his time. And maybe are they gonna definitely get the number one pick? Or are they definitely the worst team, or are the Senators gonna get it?
I think Buffalo right now is in dead last, but we can fact check that as you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like they should have made that move a lot earlier, unless it got worse than what it was at the beginning of the season, which could be the case. But I feel like we won't now. So
Yeah, I mean, so like you said, Sabres are currently the worst team in the league, but it's actually
Yeah.
close. Senators 32 points, Ducks 33 points, Buffalo 27. So for me, I mean, sitting out Eichel is going to help them. Whether
Yeah, definitely secure the number one pick. That's good for them. But this upcoming draft's not that loaded.
Yeah, I mean, listen, drafts are kind of like hit and miss.
Yeah, you're right.
Like sometimes they say, there's not a ton of guys, and then there isn't one. And then it's like, oh, this draft is stacked, and then, it's not as good as
Yeah.
they thought. Like, whatever. So, but normally, right? Well, last year the draft lottery was like different because they had
Yeah.
like some playoff teams were able to like get the first pick. That's how the Rangers got the first pick. Like
Dumbest shit
quote
I've ever
unquote
seen.
playoff teams. But in a usual draft lottery, there's only 14 teams that could get it, so it's not a lock that they'll get the first
Yeah.
pick. But normally the
They'll have the
NHL,
highest percentage
yeah,
chance, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike the NBA, which is like the eighth worst team has like a legit chance to get the first pick, which is just like straight up stupid. The Buffalo Sabres currently have the best odds at the first pick in the draft. So just wanted to clarify that there. And then, so enough about the Sabres, I guess, because like we said, it's indirectly tanking. I'm a big fan of that. If you're trying to
Yeah.
rebuild, listen, you can't do it halfway. You're either all in or you're all out. And they're all out,
Yeah.
not by design. They're just all out. So let's go to the Dallas, right? You picked them a couple weeks back. You thought they were going to make a comeback and hang into that fourth spot. They're currently hanging back. No Ben Bishop and no
Yeah.
Radulov. So how do you feel as a person who took them with their
Yeah.
pick, and how do you think Dallas Stars fans should feel?
Yeah, so that pick's a wrap. That's definitely not gonna happen anymore. It's unfortunate, but I feel like Ben Bishop coming back would have really helped boost them. He's a solid tendy, but yeah, and Radulov as a top six forward, they're definitely gonna miss the scoring, and they're 7 points back with 3 games in hand on the Predators. I'm reading, but yeah, I don't think that they'll be able to make it up in that division in this amount of time.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be tough for them for sure. Look, I mean, I thought Dallas was a good team. I always think they're a good team. Like they just have solid players, but I mean, obviously we've seen without Bishop, they're not as good in goal. Like yes, they have two competent goalies, but Bishop's on like another level when he's on his game. Radulov's a solid player. They haven't had Tyler Seguin for pretty much any of the
All year,
season.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
like
Yeah.
I don't think he's back yet, right? Or he just came back.
Nah, yeah, I don't think he's back yet either.
Yeah, we could check that, but let's see.
Yeah, he's out for tomorrow's game against Columbus.
All right, so he's
It's,
close then.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, that's not like obviously you don't have a lot of your core guys like Ben is playing, but like all right, you're missing some other dudes.
Yeah.
I agree with you where I think that without Bishop coming back and Sagan missing a little more time than they thought he was going to miss, I think that's going to sink them in the division, especially because Nashville is like scorching hot still. They've been on a rampage. I think Dallas for this year, it's kind of just not like a reset, but take a step back, get your guys healthy, roll it back again next year because their team is good.
Yeah, they do have a solid team, but like I just feel like with all the injuries, like even Chicago and even like Columbus could give them problems and like winning and trying to climb the standings. But yeah, I feel like once they're a fully healthy team, they should definitely be a playoff team.
I agree 100% with that. But those are just some two big injury things we had going on. Just wanted to address them before we dove fully in to some trade talks. All right, so obviously, like we said, deadline got active right towards it. Now, it wasn't super, super active like it normally is, but obviously for COVID, I thought it was incredibly active. I know you agree.
Yeah.
And like we texted, like off air, obviously, there were a lot more trades between like American teams and Canadian teams than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. So
just because of the 14-day COVID quarantine stuff, I just feel like it's like a lot of time in a short season.
For sure, for sure. So we're going to talk about some major trades that we think have like immediate, impacts. Obviously, like I said to start off the show, we might not get to everything. So listen, you got to give us some time here. But we're going to talk about every team eventually. So you called it last week. The second we stopped recording, Palmieri got traded with Zajac to the New York Islanders. All right, so why don't we start with that one? Because that was the one that happened, I guess, first in this sequence of events here. And obviously, we're a New York-based company, so listen, got to hook up our hometown fans. All right, let's go
Yes,
Isles.
sir.
All right, Joe, so what do you think of the move for the Islanders' standpoint? Why don't we go one by one to start, talk about each trade, and then we can talk about them as a whole and kind of compare and contrast. So just for the Islanders, what do you think?
I loved it. I was so excited, so happy. I just didn't see it coming. And then they got Travis Zajac too. That's like so huge. That like takes Komarov out of the lineup permanently, and like even though Dal Call's hurt and like wasn't playing too bad, like definitely removes him too. So gives you another player to put on the first line and an automatic solid third line player.
Yeah,
I love it.
No doubt. And Zajac was playing like
On the
penalty,
first, he's on the
penalty
first
kill
line.
first line. Like he was kind of
Yeah.
moving all around. So I think, like you said, it's a great deal for the Islanders. But I'll tell you why. Not for the reasons you said, even though I agree with those reasons.
Oh, because I know what you're gonna say.
Because they got him for free. They got them for free. They traded nothing. Like, all right, we gave up a first round pick. Like, all right, hopefully, it's like pick 26 or later. All right, so we traded.
Yeah.
You know what we traded? A scrub for two guys that can help us win the Stanley Cup. God bless you. God bless you.
Two scrubs.
Yeah, two scrubs is right, but I just mean that pick in itself. Because,
Yeah.
if you're a casual and you don't know, you're like, oh my God. Like, if you're a football fan, you think they give your first round pick. Like, listen, in hockey, same thing as the NBA. If you're not picking in, like, the top 10, it ain't worth it. Just get rid of them. Because most of those guys, after the top 10, are, like, third-line players at best.
Yeah.
So
or if they could even make the league.
That's what I mean, at best. Yeah, you're not looking at, like, you're not drafting Connor McDavid with the 28th overall picks. Never happened. All right? Now, sometimes you get, like, random guys, like when the Red Wings took Nick Lidstrom in, like, the 4th round, and he's, like, the best defenseman, like, ever. All right, so, but other than that, that's, like, an anomaly. You know, you don't normally get guys like that. So it was a great deal for the Islanders.
Yeah, I loved it a lot. I'm surprised, though, Palmieri's not on the first line, and they have Zajac up there with Eberle and Barzal, but maybe they'll get moved around again. But then again, it makes the third line like really solid, in my opinion. Like could be other teams' first lines.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it makes them really good. That's for sure.
I would. Palmieri, Pajot, and Wallstrom. It's way better than some teams' first line.
Yeah, the teams that are in dead last, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Just make sure my point is correct.
All right. Well, how about the Devils then? Because I actually like it for them because they're going to get some young talent that they can infuse with their already young team. So it makes sense for them, I feel like.
It makes sense, but I don't think those two players are going to make the NHL that they traded them or, like, do anything close to significant. So hopefully maybe with the pick they could maybe get someone or if they want, they could trade it to get someone else.
I was going to say, you don't need to make a pick with that pick. You could package it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, too. And I also loved how New Jersey also retains 50% of their salary as well.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous thing.
We like that a lot. Lou did a great thing.
Yeah. You know you're a poverty franchise when your fans are happy about the other team eating 50% of someone's contract, so that's nice. For sure.
Yeah.
Please keep telling me the Islanders are a big market team. All right. All right, so let's go to our next trade. All right, so this is not in any particular order. We're just going to go in the order I typed them in. So Taylor Hall gets traded from Buffalo to Boston. He was on a lot of teams' radar. He's kind of underperformed this year, but like as we know, Buffalo sucks. So it's kind of hard to put up points there when it's just a miserable time. What did you think of the move? Let's start with the Sabres this time, because it seemed like I thought they were going to shed everyone, and they didn't really do that.
Yeah. So, like, what do you mean? Just like
Well,
talk about the trade
yeah,
for
I
them.
mean, so what do you think? Do
Um,
you think they got a decent return for him, or do you think you
honestly,
thought
like
they were going to trade more guys?
getting Anders Bork, I thought was honestly not too shabby because like he's like an everyday NHL player, and I'm pretty sure he put up a point in his first game as a Saber. So honestly, I was surprised that they were able to get at least somewhat of a useful player for him, and they just didn't give him like a bunch of random shitty picks and like end up securing the bag. But Curtis Lazar also packaged in the deal with Taylor Hall, so yeah, hopefully the curse of Taylor Hall will stop with the Bruins and he could actually pick up from his Hart season.
Yeah, listen, if he can't produce there the way he did, like
That's tough.
in his good years, like
Yeah,
it's on him now.
yeah,
Because like you're
for
on a
sure.
good squad, yeah. And then obviously, I'm
I,
guessing for Boston, you like it.
yeah, it's a good. That's definitely Boston needed a top six scorer real bad, like like more than almost the Islanders even because besides their top three, honestly, they don't have much. But now Taylor Hall with David Krejci and Craig Smith, that's solid.
Yeah, that's a really good line.
And now that their third line's looking like Nick Ritchie, Charlie Coyle, and Jake DeBrusk, that's all. Like they have like three solid hockey lines now. So
Yeah,
I liked it a lot for them.
I agree with you for Boston because as we've noted on this, and obviously if you're a hockey fan, you know, like outside of their top line, they are the definition of mediocre, like everywhere. They
Yeah,
needed some star power in there. Now I'm not saying Taylor Hall is like this ultimate game changer, but he's definitely a big upgrade talent wise over what they had.
yeah, I agree.
And like the Islanders, they didn't have to give up that much to get him.
Yeah, that's why I like NHL trade deadline. You just get like a rental for free.
Yeah,
I don't know if Hall's gonna be a rental for them, but
they're like,
we'll
yeah,
see.
we'll give you this valuable NHL player for three people that will probably never see our professional organization. I would love to make that trade 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I don't get how like it just sounds so good for him all the time. Like
I don't know.
they're just like, yeah, we'll do that.
Or like
But I mean,
some of those
I
other
guess
smaller
cap and
trades you
stuff.
send me, like, yeah, we'll trade you this defenseman who could play on your third pairing as a solid guy for like a seventh round pick. Like, what do you do with a seventh round NHL pick?
Seventh round 2025 pick.
Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I'll never understand. Like, I guess you're getting something back for a
Yeah,
guy, but like,
no one wants like you like. I feel like if you're getting traded for that, like the confidence and self esteem just has to be at an all time low. Like they just really just didn't want me on their team, so
yeah.
they just got rid of me.
Oh man. All right, so we're 2 for 2 on agreeing with our trades here. All right, let's go to now. This one might be my favorite. Jeff Carter to the Penguins. As you noted, this makes the Penguins top six real scary.
Yeah, I don't like it. Well, like obviously I like it for the as if I was a Penguins fan, I'd like it, but that's real scary for teams in the Eastern Division.
Real
Like
scary.
real
Yeah.
scary. Yeah,
Yeah.
really scary.
'Cause
If
it's
he can like if he clicks with them and like has chemistry automatically, like it's just gonna be real tough
Do
to
you think
beat
he's
them.
their
And
sixth
like
best skater out of who they have?
sixth best out of their top six.
Yeah.
1 second, I have a picture of their no. I'd take Jeff Carter over Brian Rust. I just think Brian
Okay.
Rust plays so well because he's playing with Sidney Crosby. I'd also take Jeff Carter over Jason Zucker as well.
All right.
And so yeah,
So he's
I
middle
think
of the
he's
pack.
yeah, I'd say so for sure.
Well, listen, that's not bad for them.
Middle lower of the pack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean. But like, look, he plays. I feel like a different style, other than like guys they have. Like he's one of those
yeah,
grinders who's like in front of the net, like making gritty plays. And normally you think of the Penguins of a finesse team, even though their entire team is not like that. But that's just the reputation they get because of Crosby, because he can make you look
yeah.
stupid. Um,
And Malkin.
yeah, but Malkin and him now, those are two big bodies on the two
Yeah,
top
that's like
lines. Yeah,
that's a tough line to defend against for sure.
I did.
Especially, and you're gonna see a lot of shots from the point from defensemen because they're just gonna screen the goalie. Just two large bodies won't even be able to see where it's going.
Yeah, it's the Anders Lee effect. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for
I
sure.
agree.
And then obviously, listen, the Kings, they had a little nice run in the beginning there. We knew they didn't have the talent to compete long term. I think it was
Oh.
I think it was a good trade for them too.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Third and a fourth rounder, 2 picks. I thought it was good.
That's what I
I
mean.
mean, maybe could have pushed for a second, but I mean,
Yeah, but look, you got some value on a guy that you won 2 cups with. You got everything
yeah,
you needed
exactly.
out of him. Ship him off, and now he might be able to do the
Yeah, and
same thing for
hope that he
Pittsburgh.
wins. Yeah, hope that he wins again or something.
Yeah,
I agree.
I so far me and Joe are in lockstep. All right, we got a couple more, and then we can talk as a whole group. All right, so let's do Anthony Mantha. All right, Capitals picked him up from Detroit. I'll let you take this one because you had like an immediate reaction when you texted me. So, what were your
I just
thoughts?
thought I just thought it was crazy that they traded Jacob Brana for him because like Richard Panik, first round pick, second round pick, like yeah, I'd do that for someone who could like put up like 20, 25 goals like consecutive seasons. But like Jacob Brana like could do the same thing. So I honestly feel like the Red Wings definitely won this trade.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of, like they overpaid, they overpaid.
I
Maybe
think they did for sure.
I think they overpaid, but I don't think it's like by a gross amount because as we've been saying before, if the Capitals make a run, which obviously they are very capable of doing, and they're picking
Yeah.
28th or later, it's just you swapped Vrana for Mantha. If you want to
Yeah.
think about it that way.
Yeah, you're right. You could think about it that way because Panic, I'm pretty sure, didn't even play anymore. I'm pretty sure
But
someone took
do
his
you
spot
think
when he got
Mantha
hurt.
is
But
that big of an upgrade over Vrana right now?
well, like
He scored yesterday.
honestly, yeah, I know that was a nice goal, but I think Mantha, I think he's gonna really reach his potential. The Capitals playing with Oshie and I forget who else he was playing with,
I
but
think he was playing with
because
Kuznetsov or Backstrom yesterday, wasn't he?
let me check.
When I saw that goal, I'm pretty sure it was. Well, I don't know if he was playing with that line, but that's
It
just who
was
was on the
Man.
ice.
It was Mantha, Backstrom, and Oshie, and the first line was Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, and Wilson.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So yeah, playing with those two players over playing with whoever he played with on the Red Wings, I feel like are really gonna optimize his scoring and playmaking ability. So if he goes off and does insane, then I feel like the Capitals could have won the trade, but like without seeing that, I just feel like Jacob Vrana was like a pretty consistent scorer for them. So far, I think Detroit won the trade.
Yeah, I think that's one of those trades where Washington's like, we could win the Stanley Cup again this year, and if this guy is immediately better than the guy we have, we just have to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you got to think, how many years left does Ovechkin have?
Not that many of being like a real
Elite,
solid goal
yeah.
scoring threat. Yeah.
And it's
Well, I mean,
like,
like even right now, he just kind of sits around in his office and just fires off
yeah,
shots.
I
Like I
know.
feel like he could do that for a bit longer if he wanted to.
Oh, he totally could. His shot's never going to
Yeah,
die. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
This guy could come out here at age 65. Like, you wouldn't know who he is. Like, some grandpa. You find him outside, like, the forest somewhere. And he's like, yeah, I'll teach you how to shoot. And he ropes one and, like, breaks the net he has out there. That's a movie
Yeah.
plot right there, kids. Get that over to Hollywood. There you go. Washed up Alex Ovechkin teaches young kid how to play hockey. Inspiration story. All right. So, for the last one, we went in 2 different directions because we were kind of split on who the most important one was in our opinion. So I'll let you take your guy first, Mr. Bennett, and then I'll give my guy after that.
Yeah, I like the Sam Bennett trade for the Panthers. Only giving up a second rounder and then the second round pick that they chose in the last draft, I really thought that wasn't much to give for someone that could definitely boost your forward group and could make you have a better playoff run because he's just an experienced player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, it was a good pickup. But for me, I mean, you know where I stand on this, right?
Yeah.
Devin Dubnyk to the Avalanche. I've been saying it for like a month. They need to trade for a second goalie. They finally did it. They didn't pull off a move for Kemper because, the Coyotes aren't completely out of it yet, so smart on them for not selling. But they got Dubnyk, who we know when he's on his game is really, really good. And they only got him for pretty much a 5th-round pick and a player. That is a steal. And the reason why it's more important, in my opinion, is because Philip Grubauer is now on the COVID list.
Yeah, that's huge for them.
Massive. They needed that
they
depth.
Can continue their push.
Yep.
While still having a goalie that knows how to play.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming now that he's on a better team, his numbers will just be better.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, Avalanche.
And they have a pretty solid defense, too.
Avalanche in first place in their division by 4 points. Just saying.
All right, Tim. All right.
I don't know if they'll be able to keep it up without Grubauer, but they needed Dubnyk to keep them afloat at least.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So now that we talked about our biggest trades, right? Which trade, let's just focus, because a lot of the trades we picked were actually in the Eastern Division there. Between the Islanders trade, Taylor Hall, Carter, Mantha. Which one of those trades do you like the most? We'll keep it to those 4 guys. And which out of those 4 teams do you think improve their chances the most to win the Stanley Cup?
I think for the one that improved their team the most, the team really needed it, I'd say the Bruins, because they really needed another person that could score and be a top hockey player when they need, and someone to rely on type of when he's on the ice. But for chances to win the cup, honestly, I'd say the Islanders, because this is the first time we've seen them with 4 actual solid lines of hockey, and it'll be real interesting to see how they which lines click and the chemistry and how it all comes together. Very exciting to see.
I agree on Hall 100%. They needed him. He needed to get out. That was a perfect marriage for both sides. I don't even know if that's arguable. If you meet anyone who says anything differently, I'm not sure you're talking to someone that knows what they're talking about for that exact question. I think the team that improved their chances the best might have been Pittsburgh. Because outside of Getzel, Crosby, and Malkin, like you said, a lot of those guys are just elevated playing with Crosby. I feel like Carter brings another element to that team, another big body. You need big bodies to win in the playoffs. I don't care what anyone tells you, right? He knows how to play. Yeah. He's got a ton of playoff experience. And Pittsburgh already matched up well with some of the top teams in the traditional Eastern Conference, even though it's not the Eastern Conference, but you know what I mean? They already matched up well with them. And now they added him into it. I feel like that really propelled them. So here's another question since we differ on that.
I can get behind that.
Which team, if you had to pick a team out of those 4 teams now, between the Capitals, the Penguins, the Islanders, and the Bruins, which are actually, I believe, the 4 current teams in the top 4 spots in the division.
Yeah, they are.
Who would you pick to make it to the Stanley Cup out of those 4?
Oh, jeez. I don't want to say the Islanders. So that's just me being biased, but I actually feel like they definitely could, because I understand what you're saying about the Penguins trade, but if we didn't make that trade, we'd have Leo Komarov playing on the first line in the playoffs, and then having some others having Kiefer Bellows play with Pajot and Wallstrom on the third line. So I honestly think if the defending stays the way it is, PNP defense, Polak and Pelech, solid boys, and if the goaltending, I want Varlamov to play better. Sorokin's been killing it so far, but I honestly feel like they do. So, yeah.
So you're going to go with the Islanders? Listen, I'm going to go with the team with the most talented players. And in my opinion, that's either Pittsburgh or Washington. For right now, I'm going to take Washington because Pittsburgh's goaltending scares the living hell out of me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Washington is a better team than the Islanders. I know what you're saying, where the Islanders might be a little bit deeper now, which they obviously
Yeah, I
needed.
understand what you're saying.
But if you're just looking at player for player, Washington is
Oh yeah,
stacked.
for sure.
Stacked.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, they crushed us the first couple of times we played them. We've gotten them back the past 2 times. But it's not like we're blowing them out.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think the main difference is between the third and fourth lines and how like the defenses respond to the other team's top 6, top 9.
Do you think any of those 4 teams can beat Tampa in a 7-game series?
Yeah, I think Caps could. I think the Penguins could. I think.
Do you think the Islanders actually could beat them in a 7-game series?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Kucherov out. Yeah, just gotta shut down Braden Point. I feel like, and shut down Victor Hedman because he also killed us in the playoffs. But yeah, might just be being biased, but with Palmieri and Zajac, 2 solid veterans who know how to both score in their own way and like lead teams and like just I love it. Now we have like 3 good lines too, so like I love it.
I don't know if the Islanders have the firepower to beat Tampa in a 7-game series.
They don't need the firepower. They just need to not let them score as many goals as we do.
Yeah, we tried that last
Just
year.
need
That
to play
did not
better
work out
defense.
for us.
And I'm telling you, look at who played on our team. Like, we got Pajot, like, that was huge, but we still had scrubs on our team.
No, I get it. I get it. But, like, do you think they closed the gap from,
understand.
like, being embarrassed?
Yeah.
All right. That's fair. I'm just asking.
Honestly, maybe they won't win, but I'd see it going to 6, 7.
More competitive, yes. That I agree with 100%.
And it just depends, like, because I don't see Sorokin playing in the playoffs, like, that much, like if he like unless Varlamov like actually shits the bed, but like he has to play a lot better, and then I feel like we definitely could be good.
So shout out to my buddy Dennis over here. Listen, he hit me up on Instagram, kind of sparked this conversation. I mean, he was adamant that the Islanders were like Stanley Cup favorites, and I was like, take it easy, because I wouldn't go that far. Because I remember this year is different. Like when you get to the semis, it's going to be reseeded, so you could play a traditional Western Conference team in the semifinals. And I think if the Islanders ran into Colorado or Vegas, they would get run off the ice. Yeah, Joe is like, no, don't do that, please.
No, not again. I don't think against Vegas, but I definitely against Colorado. I agree with that, but I think that we can beat Vegas.
I mean, but like that's not a matchup I want.
Yeah, no, I definitely would not want that. But I also want the Isles to be the first seed because I actually enjoy playing the Bruins like this season, which I never thought I'd ever say. They usually spank us around, but like it's actually nuts how well we're performing against them. Yeah. And if you want, I could lead us into picks of the week. Key.
Before we do that, I will give you 1 minute to talk about your other trade you wanted to bring up because we do have time for it.
Yeah.
So hit on your guy, and then we can go to our wet in the beak.
Oh, fire. So, yeah, David Savard traded to Tampa. That's I think that's super big for them because he's playing on their first line with Victor Hedman, and Victor Hedman, already insane defenseman, and him with David Savard, who I think is honestly a really underrated defenseman, is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's a big pickup for them. Of course, the rich getting richer, which a lot of teams did this trade deadline. A lot of the teams that thought they had a chance to win it really tried to push themselves over the edge.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? How the top 4 teams in the East each got insane trade deals, and then the Maple Leafs got Nick Foligno and Dave Riddett. Sorry, I'm talking about mad trades.
No, that's good. Yeah, listen, there are other teams that we didn't get to that obviously made an impact, but I didn't even realize it until I was talking about it that it was mainly East teams we were hitting on.
Yeah.
But, all right, so let's go to Wet in the Beak. All right, if you're new to this part, this is when we give you some betting picks here. We went 3-1 collectively last week. I was 2-0. Joe was 1-1. So that brings us to 16-12 on the year. So a little bit better than how we've been doing. And last week we said it too. We said this week's odds, we knew immediately they were great, and we had a really good week. This week, I don't feel as confident, but I'm still pretty confident. So I picked first last week, which means I will give you the opportunity to go first this week since you picked the games first.
Wonderful. So my first game, I'm going to take Penguins with newly acquired Jeff Carter over the Flyers at minus 162. Even though they are 162, I just feel like the Penguins are too talented to lose to the Flyers, and the Flyers just have not been playing defense or hockey well at all as of late, and don't really seem to care to try to fight for the 4th seed in the East anymore.
Yeah. That was actually one of my picks originally because we didn't. We had to listen. Joe had to do some homework. All right, all good. Gotta take care of the responsibilities. So I thought I was gonna get that game. I did not. So listen, I agree 110% what you just said. I think Philly has given up more or less. They do not care on defense. It is truly a sight to see. My first game is gonna be the Winnipeg Jets plus 142 at Toronto. Now, you're probably saying you're picking against Toronto right now, and I'm like, it's mostly because of the odds. So, the Jets are 2-2-2 against Toronto this year. Listen, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 overtime losses. In my opinion, that means I have a 50-50 shot at getting this one right. And with the current money line at plus 142, I'm not going to say no. Winnipeg is 6-3-1 in their last 10. Obviously, they have good goaltending. They have good forwards. It's just, can you slow down Marner and Matthews? I don't know, but I'm willing to take a gamble on them.
All right. I like it. I could see that. I like the Jets. Hate the Leafs, so I'll get behind it. I'll back you. But for my second pick, I'll take the Islanders minus 103 against the Bruins. We are 5-0 against the Bruins this season, and I'm reading here that it seems that Craig Smith and David Pastrnak are out with lower body injuries, so that's fantastic that we are still minus 103. So I think that should be a pretty good pick.
Yeah, listen, every time Pasternak's out, they are not nearly as explosive on offense.
Yeah, so I agree.
That's just a note for our bettors at home there. My second game, I was going to take the cookie and take the Capitals over the Sabres. Joe is like, "What kind of person are you?" And I'm like, "Listen, I'm just trying to be right." But you know what? He talked me out of it. So I'm going to go with a little more upside for you because I'm a nice guy. Nashville versus the Carolina Hurricanes plus 155. Now, I will be honest with you. They have not beaten Carolina one time this year, but they are scorching hot. All right, they're 8-2 in their past 10. They have skyrocketed. This is Nashville. All the way to the 4th seed in their division. And I'm just going to take the hot team on the positive side of the money line. Carolina's good. They normally play a solid game, but I'm going to ride Nashville.
I like it.
Joe likes it, he says, mostly because he talked me off another easy 2-0 week right there. All right, so.
You can't be taking a team that's minus 335 on the money line.
I know, it's not worth it.
You could go to local elementary school, someone that knows hockey, be like, who wins? He's obviously going to pick the Cavs. Come on, Tim. You need some more than that.
I know, but listen, you're just trying to get it right. No. All right, let's get to our game of the week. I'll go first because Joe had the first pick. I'm going to go with Oilers and Jets, 10 p.m. Saturday, NHL Network. Listen, both teams are really good. There is a lot of star power in this game. Obviously, we know the Oilers' top 2 are ridiculous with Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Jets and Oilers near the top of their division. I believe they are back-to-back in the standings, actually. They are neck and neck, 53 points and 52 points. So it should be a good game. Should be a big one. So that's my game. And it's also on NHL Network, so you get the game.
Oh, snap. My game for this weekend is a Sunday afternoon game at 12 p.m. between the Bruins and the Capitals. Both teams with huge new additions. I think it'll be fun to watch, and it's also going to be nationally broadcasted on NBC, so that's also fantastic.
Yeah, so you get to check them both out if you're home this weekend. So listen, like I said before, that's going to wrap it up for me and Joe. Obviously, before I tease next week's show, reminder, follow Beak Brands, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow me at Tim Ferdinand. Joe is at Joe Wilson24, 2 E's on the Joe. Check out the website, beakbrands.com. Written content, podcast is there. You can interact with us on the website as well. If you have suggestions, obviously hit the Beak Brands account. Number 3 would be subscribe, like, comment on YouTube. Help us out. Share with your friends. We could use some assistance, right? Any, publicity is good. So definitely help us out there. If you're a listener on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, as always, rate and review /subscribe/follow. Help your guys out. All right? Next week when we come back, obviously, we will see how the new trades kind of impacted their teams. And we're getting really close, Joe, to the end of the regular season. I see a lot of teams are at 42 plus games played, which means we only have about a handful left. So we're getting really close to the playoff, picture being set for us in stone. So as we go along, me and Joe will obviously give our thoughts on all of that good stuff for you. But until then, we will talk to you soon. We are out of here.